I'm Andre Huey, and this is the Skn Newsline Newscast. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is recapping the year 2021 with its anticipation that there will be accelerated growth for countries in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union in 2022 with the restoration of the tourism sector. More in this report.
6,000 loans valued at $1.2 billion benefited from the loan deferral program across the Eastern Caribbean, says Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy Antwine. Speaking in his annual Christmas message, Governor Antwine listed this as one of the achievements of the ECCB in 2021.
First, our continued collaboration with banks and other financial institutions
I'm Andre Huey, and this is the Skn Newsline Newscast. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank is recapping the year 2021 with its anticipation that there will be accelerated growth for countries in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union in 2022 with the restoration of the tourism sector. More in this report.
6,000 loans valued at $1.2 billion benefited from the loan deferral program across the Eastern Caribbean, says Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy Antwine. Speaking in his annual Christmas message, Governor Antwine listed this as one of the achievements of the ECCB in 2021.
First, our continued collaboration with banks and other financial institutions to deliver the much-needed and appreciated loan repayment deferral program. Although some loans have graduated or have now been restructured, there are still about 6,000 loans valued at about $1.2 billion benefiting from this program. Second, our provision of $1 million to ensure the timely rollout of vaccination programs in our member countries.
In addition to the vaccination rollout in the member countries of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union, the governor also said the launch of Dcash was one of the major accomplishments of the ECCB in 2021.
Third, the launch of our award-winning digital currency Dcash, thereby becoming the first currency union in the world to launch a digital currency. Dcash is now available in 7 of our 8 member countries, and we anticipate onboarding Anguilla in early 2022. Now, amidst all the uncertainty presented by the pandemic, our currency union resumed growth following a contraction of 17% in 2020. We are grateful that our fair isles were spared the ravages of monster storms, but are mindful of the devastation wrought by the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the criticality of additional resources as the country builds back better. We urge those who pledged to make good on their commitments and encourage others to step forward.
He hailed the work of the frontline workers in the fight against COVID-19 as the world faces the 3rd year of the pandemic. He encouraged those who have not yet been vaccinated to seek medical advice and become vaccinated. He used the opportunity to highlight the ECCB's key points of the program of action for recovery, resilience, and transformation.
Key actions include boosting food and nutrition security, access to credit for small businesses, accelerating digital transformation, strengthening cybersecurity, and enhancing climate resilience. In conclusion, we at the ECCB count it a distinct privilege to serve the people of the ECCU. We are grateful for all your partnerships and thankful for all your prayers. May we be endued with a sense of hope as we celebrate Jesus Christ, the hope of all nations.
Governor Antwine said with the recovery of tourism, the region is expected to see accelerated growth in the new year. The revised growth targets will be published by the bank at the end of January 2022. Andre Huey, Skn Newsline.
The St. Kitts and Nevis Coast Guard is searching for a new vessel capable of carrying out its maritime enforcement and humanitarian roles for the Federation and member countries of the regional security system. Glenn Bart reports.
A replacement for the St. Kitts and Nevis Coast Guard cutter Stalwart is in progress, a necessary measure being taken to ensure that the Coast Guard can execute its obligations to the Federation and to the Northern Eastern Caribbean region. According to Lieutenant Colonel J. Anthony Comrie, commander of the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force, apart from its role as a maritime law enforcement agency and search and rescue, disaster relief obligations and humanitarian assistance are critical functions of the Coast Guard, especially at a time when there is increasing frequency and intensity of hurricanes and other natural disasters. The commander spoke of the ongoing search for the replacement during the recent Skn NIS Working for You program.
We are searching for a replacement for our larger cutter, Coast Guard cutter Stalwart, that is 38 years old. We would have make a decision not to continue the use, and we was in advanced negotiation for replacement. We went to Holland to look at a vessel. Unfortunately, when we got back, the company was involved with some not so nice review, so we had to cut the negotiation. But we're still searching, and why it taking us so long? Because we're looking for a vessel that can do both law enforcement and disaster relief and humanitarian assistance. Because of our location, that we will have a hurricane every year, we'll need that vessel to assist. We may assist Antigua, we may assist Montserrat, we may assist Dominica. And because of our location and the most northern RSS country, then we expected to assist in those areas. So that is why it's taking us a bit. The last conversation we had with National Security is that they were seeking some assistance from the UK in terms of a replacement. So we are still looking to have a replacement, because we definitely cannot function without that sort of platform.
The vessel served the Coast Guard for decades and has been a challenge to maintain. It was once seriously damaged in a major hurricane. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
When we come back, the Labour Party looking to launch a shadow cabinet in the new year.
Get in on the biggest sale this Christmas at Smart Electronics and Island Electronics. Visit any of the 2 stores for the entire month of December and January. Get huge discounts store-wide. Only at Smart Electronics and Island Electronics for the finest in electronics, gadgets and appliances in the best brands. COVID protocols will be observed. Visit Smart Electronics at Port Zante or Island Electronics on 4th Street. 2 stores, one great experience. If you need effective advertising at affordable prices, you need to advertise with Skn Newsline. We offer a wide range of services: TV advertising, video ad production, social media marketing and management, WhatsApp marketing, digital marketing, and much more. We offer a comprehensive marketing package to suit your budget. Call our advertising department at 665-7456, 661-2008, or 663-8887. Get your message out on our newscast on the cable channel 95 and or online networks. Weekdays at 7 p.m. Skn Newsline. Marketing made easy.
Welcome back. The opposition St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party will be launching a shadow cabinet in the new year, according to its leader, Dr. Terence Drew. More in this report.
The opposition St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party will be installing a shadow cabinet in the coming weeks, according to leader of the party, Dr. Terence Drew. This shadow cabinet, he said, will be used to address pressing national issues. The Labour Party leader made this disclosure during his official response to the 2022 fiscal budget of the government, which was passed in Parliament a week ago.
Over the months ahead, a shadow cabinet will be appointed, comprising of our new slate of candidates to consistently give voice to the SKNLP's positions on the matters of state. For example, we will speak out on the issues such as the protection of children, adolescents, women, and men from neglect and abuse. Speaking of abuse, since Team Unity has come to existence, there has been massive abuse via social media and victimization of people on the basis of fear, favor, and ill will.
An area he said the party would be putting a lot of focus on is agriculture and the need to reduce the food import bill.
Under Team Unity government, the Federation's food import bill has skyrocketed to over $210 million per year. We can and must do better to feed ourselves. Under the Team Unity government, the Federation's food import bill has skyrocketed to over $210 million per year. We can and must do better to feed ourselves. This has been a major lesson from COVID-19. The first duty of government is to protect and invest in its people. The Skn Nevis Labour Party has a track record of effective management during crises and other challenges. You, the people, can look to the future with high hopes and expectation, knowing that the SKNLP knows how to rebuild programs and services that benefit the common good.
Though Dr. Drew is the leader of the party, the opposition leader remains Dr. Denzel Douglas, the parliamentary representative for St. Christopher 6. Dr. Drew remained the caretaker for St. Christopher 8. In his address, he said the fiscal budget 2022 falls woefully short in addressing the needs of the people. I'm Andre Huey for Skn Newsline.
Talks are favorable for a more permanent presence of the Coast Guard on Nevis, as more attempts are being made to protect the maritime borders of the Federation. Glenn Bart reports.
In an effort to reduce illegal importation of contraband, the Skn Nevis Coast Guard will establish a more permanent presence on Nevis during 2022. The Coast Guard is a unit operated under the Skn Nevis Defence Force. According to Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Comrie, commander of the SKNDF, there is a need to address what he called a soft spot on Nevis. At the time, he was speaking on a recent SKNIS radio program called Working for You.
We are now trying to have a footprint on Nevis. We would have had conversation with the NIA, and it is favorable, and we are now hoping to have a temporary location at Long Point where we can operate from, and we are hoping early next year that will come to fruition. We presently is on Nevis on a daily basis because we realize that Nevis is what we call a soft spot, and we believe that it's most of the legal activity in terms of weapons and drugs would have come to Nevis because of the lack of presence. So we at Nevis on a daily basis, at least 8 hours, be it in the night or in the day, we will spend on Nevis in a vessel. We have identified a vessel to be placed on Nevis, to station on Nevis, so we can, our response time for the Nevisian boating and fishing public will be increased greatly because the vessel will be stationed on Nevis come next year.
From illegal immigration to narcotics interdiction and gun running, the Coast Guard plays an essential role in the Federation's border security. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
When we come back, an increase in COVID cases among tourists in Jamaica.
Come get your fresh smoothie at Master Mix Smoothie in Bastyr at 2 locations, the Bastyr Public Market or under the arch at the National Museum. Get a fresh, all-natural, healthy and tasty smoothie with flavors of your choice. Master Mix Smoothie knows the flavors that you like and mixes it all up for you the way you want it. Master Mix Smoothie, 2 locations, the Bastyr Public Market or under the arch at the National Museum. Master Mix Smoothie, always the real thing, always smoothie. Want to buy some fresh fruits, vegetables, or ground provision, but don't have the time to go to the market or even to find parking?
Look no further. Green Market and Delivery is your solution. Green Market and Delivery is an e-commerce store that sells and delivers local produce to customers in St. Kitts and Nevis. Anything you purchase, you can get fresh from the market and delivered directly to your door. Log on to www.greenmarketskn.com. Click on the e-store link, choose your items, and shop away. We have a wide array of products from fruits, vegetables, local products, spices and seasonings, and much more. Save time and energy. Shop on greenmarketskn.com, your one-stop shop for fresh local produce.
Welcome back, and now to news from across the Caribbean. There has been an uptick in COVID-19 cases among guests at some Jamaican hotels, which suggests there is already an impact of the Omicron variant on the island's tourism. More in this TVJ News report.
The Omicron variant of COVID-19 is causing worry in the tourism sector. Some experts say pretty soon Omicron could become the dominant strain of COVID. Locally, in St. Anne and St. James, we've been informed that some hotels are already seeing a high number of cases of coronavirus among guests. We spoke with senior strategist in the Tourism Ministry, Delano Seavright, this afternoon.
There has been an uptick in cases of COVID-19. Many of the persons who tested positive because of the need to go back to their respective countries are vaccinated. Many of them are asymptomatic. They have no symptoms at all, but yet they test positive. Many of them feel fine. They feel very well. And there have also been some flight cancellations. Not many, not as much as in the United States, but there have been a few over the last several days. And this is related to the fact that staff members of the airlines have tested positive for COVID and as such are unable to work.
At the same time, he insists that the COVID-19 infection rate along the resilient corridor remains low. He could not say how many tourists tested positive in recent weeks.
We continue to tabulate. We have seen some increases at a number of properties, but so far it is not an alarming increase. But we are monitoring the situation and we have very strict protocols in place as it relates to isolation for persons who test positive. The challenge we have is that many of the persons in isolation are very upset because even though they have tested positive, they feel absolutely fine and they want to get on with life. But of course, we have rules and they have to follow the rules.
In the meantime, President of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, JHTA, Clifton Reeder, also argues that he too has seen signs that the Omicron variant is having some impact on the sector.
We've seen some cancellations, December showing up some cancellations, and we are seeing some of them due to the fact that some of our people coming in are pre-tested and they would have tested positive, so naturally they can't make it to Jamaica. I wouldn't say significant because December is still trending at 70% occupancy. We did a survey last week. In fact, we just closed the survey this morning and it's showing that December is trending about 70%, January about 60%, and January 67%, and February trending at 60%.
As for the traditionally busy New Year's period at hotels, Mr. Reeder insists that hotels will operate responsibly.
Just like last year, everything is toned down.
Now to news closer to home. An Air Caribbean plane destined for France on Tuesday night made an emergency landing at the Princess Juliana International Airport in St. Martin. A total of 46 passengers and 11 crew members were on board. Following the takeoff, the pilot reported an engine failure to the Air Traffic Services ATS on St. Martin. After further communication with the pilot, a code red emergency was declared, which indicated a high-level emergency. The aircraft made an emergency landing at the Princess Juliana International Airport at approximately 7:29 p.m., carrying 42 tons of fuel. According to the Director of Operations, Mr. Emile Levons, the Air Caribbean aircraft landed safely and there were no further incidents. In addition, there were no reports of injuries among the passengers and crew. Now to news on the international scene. China has recorded its fourth rise in COVID-19 cases in a row. That's despite some 30 million people already under lockdown in the country's Shanxi province. The spike in cases there has produced China's highest infection rates since the pandemic's first outbreak in Wuhan. DW News reports.
It's been almost 2 years since China has seen the streets of major cities deserted. But once again, millions are back under lockdown. Authorities widened the restrictions across Shanxi province on Tuesday as they grapple with the country's biggest outbreak since the initial months of the pandemic. China has pursued a zero-tolerance approach, rolling out mass testing and draconian lockdowns for relatively small outbreaks. In Shanxi's capital city of Xi'an, 13 million residents are under strict stay-at-home orders after reporting less than 200 daily infections. We have quickly adopted containment measures for these risk areas. The implementation of various measures will help to effectively control the outbreak. Despite administering almost 3 billion jabs, initial research shows the locally produced Sinovac offers limited protection against the Omicron variant. The Beijing Winter Olympics are set to start in just over a month, with only spectators from mainland China permitted to attend. With diplomatic boycotts already being announced, Beijing will be eager to ensure that COVID outbreaks don't further chill the already frosty atmosphere.
For more, let's bring in correspondent Fabian Kretschmer in Beijing. Fabian, the numbers bear repeating: 13 million people in lockdown for less than 200 daily infections. How are Chinese citizens coping with such tough measures?
Well, I mean, the general public are supporting those measures mostly. And the reason is that in most parts of China right now, you can live a relatively carefree, normal life without restrictions. However, the people who are affected by the zero COVID strategy, namely the citizens of Xi'an who are really under a strict lockdown, they cannot even leave their house right now. They are relying on neighborhood committees to send them food and daily necessities. They are making a lot of sacrifices. And if you scroll through social media, for example, Weibo, which is the dominant online platform here, you can find signs of discontent. For example, people complaining that they're running out of daily necessities and that there are no new supplies. However, most of the posts have since been deleted, and it's not really easy to have an open and critical debate about the virus strategy because it is sensitive in China to criticize the government.
No doubt. As we just heard in the report, the Chinese vaccine Sinovac appears to offer limited protection against the Omicron variant. I'm curious, is the country looking into other vaccines as an option for booster shots?
I don't see that happening. The reasons why, for example, BioNTech, Moderna, they have not been approved in China, that was a purely political decision. The state media here and also the government, they've praised their own domestic vaccines as being superior, and now it would be a huge loss of face if they would turn to foreign and especially Western vaccines. What they are betting on is that Sinovac, Sinopharm, their own vaccine producers, are developing a new generation of mRNA vaccines, and then they get approved. But the bigger picture is, or the bigger question that people are wondering is, what is the long-term goal? What is the exit strategy? I mean, so far, it's hard to imagine that China will open up its borders anytime soon.
Fabian, one imagines China needs to show they've got the virus under control ahead of the Olympics. Just very briefly, if you can, what's at stake?
Well, the national prestige. Last year they claimed the victory over the virus, and now the situation is quite different. But the Olympics themselves, they will be under a strict bubble, and the games are not at danger. I think they will take place mostly without spectators, but there will be a very strict COVID bubble during the games to seal off the athletes and the journalists from the rest of the population.
That's Fabian Kretschmer in Beijing. Many thanks, Fabian.
Now to news in sports. In today's edition of the SKNFA Player Profile, we feature women's player Christy Ann Mills.
Christy Ann Mills is a St. Kitts and Nevis footballer who plays as a midfielder for Newtown FC and St. Kitts and Nevis women's national team. She played for St. Kitts and Nevis at the senior level at the 2020 CONCACAF Women's Olympic Qualifying Championship. She played football and ran track and field at Washington Archibald High School. She earned honors as the team's best midfielder and most valuable player. She received a full football scholarship to attend Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where she is studying health and exercise science and playing football for the school. The SKNFA salutes Christy Ann Mills.
Welcome to the Skn Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boole. Here is a look at the 4-day forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. For a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.
You have been watching the SKN Newsline Newscast. I'm Andre Huey. From all of us here at SKN Newsline and Channel 95, thank you for watching.
2021 has been a challenging year.
But through it all, we weathered the storm and we are still here.
So as we close the year and look towards 2022,
we want to thank you for staying with us as we kept you abreast with the happenings around us.
As we spread Christmas cheer and love this season.
From all of us here at SKN Newsline and Voice of the Caribbean Radio.
Season's greetings and a prosperous 2022.